Lionel Messi. You know the name. It's the name that literally defined an entire generation of football. From the streets of Rosario to the biggest, loudest stadiums on earth, he became so much more than just a player, right? He became a symbol of greatness. But right now, there is one massive question completely taking over the sport. So let's jump straight into this explainer and unpack the ultimate mystery hanging over us as we gear up for the 2026 World Cup in North America.
Is the 2026 World Cup going to be his final dance? I mean, think about it. If he steps onto the pitch for this upcoming tournament, we might literally be watching the farewell stage for history itself. You know, legends, they rarely announce their endings. They usually just sort of fade away. But with Messi, man, the entire globe is holding its breath waiting to find out.
Chapter 1. The Legend of Messi.
Let's take a quick look back. From his explosive debut as a teenager in Barcelona back in 2004, all the way to grabbing an Olympic gold medal in 2008. Then, we all remember the long, agonizing wait for international glory, right? That spell was finally broken by the 2021 Copa America win, which, of course, paved the way for him becoming a World Cup champion in Qatar in 2022. And now? He's continuing his conquest over in America, with his sights firmly set on capturing that elusive 2025 MLS Cup. It's the ultimate story of a kid from Rosario who completely, utterly redefined what was possible on a football pitch.
Because he didn't just play the game, you guys. He completely elevated it. We are talking about 48 career trophies. That makes him the single most decorated player in the history of the sport. Add in 8 Ballon d'Or awards, 6 European Golden Shoes, and standing as the all-time leading scorer for both Argentina and La Liga. I mean, wow. These aren't just statistics. They are monumental milestones. They remind us we're witnessing a true once-in-a-lifetime athlete who literally conquered every single challenge thrown his way.
Chapter 2. The 2026 World Cup question.
Now, the absolute biggest hurdle standing in his way right now is the number 38. Messi's going to be 38 years old, actually turning 39 shortly after, during the 2026 World Cup. Even for a player of his truly magical caliber, that is a biological ticking clock. The physical demands of a massive international tournament are totally grueling. And for an athlete playing at the absolute highest level, well, age eventually becomes an undeniable factor.
Structurally, there's another massive challenge. The MLS calendar versus the European calendar. Think about it. While European players will be arriving at the World Cup with their club seasons just getting underway, the MLS season concludes right before the tournament kicks off. This means Messi is going to have a completely different preseason and match rhythm compared to almost all of his opponents. It's exactly why he has to evaluate his fitness on a super strict, day-by-day basis.
Which leads us to this deeply personal admission from the man himself. He recently said, "I don't want to be a burden. I want to feel physically well to be sure that I can help and contribute things to the group." The really crucial takeaway here is that Messi's ambition isn't blinding his judgment. He only wants to step onto that pitch if he can genuinely contribute to Argentina's success. He definitely doesn't just want to coast by on his legendary status. And we absolutely have to ground this concern in recent reality. Hamstring discomfort from an Inter Miami game has already forced him to train entirely separately, which actually ruled him out of critical pre-World Cup friendlies against Honduras and Iceland. So that physical fragility he's worried about, it isn't just theoretical. It's happening right now in real time, serving as a pretty stark reminder of the limits of the human body. All of this makes the role of coach Lionel Scaloni incredibly important. Scaloni recently noted, the real plan is to manage him gradually, see how he responds, gauge his sensations, and then make our decisions based on that. You can really hear the careful balancing act in the coach's words, can't you? It's a super fragile situation handled through constant, honest communication. They aren't forcing some rigid plan. They're managing his workload carefully and letting Messi's body completely dictate the schedule.
Chapter 3. The End of an Era.
For the better part of 2 decades, we've all been living in the era of the Messi generation versus the Ronaldo generation. We really have to nod to this legendary rivalry because it didn't just entertain us, it fundamentally shaped modern football as we know it. Both of these absolute icons are now facing the twilight of their international careers. So 2026 won't just be a tournament. It represents a massive cultural farewell stage for the generation that defined the sport.
And interestingly, we already kind of know what the future holds after the boots are hung up. Messi has explicitly ruled out becoming a head coach. Instead, he's expressed a really strong interest in executive roles, revealing a clear preference to become a club owner. He wants to develop youth players from the ground up, giving others the very opportunities he had. It's a fascinating pivot, right? Moving from on-field magic to boardroom strategy, ensuring his impact on the game continues long after his playing days are over.
Chapter 4. One Last Dance.
Listen to how warmly he views his career right now. He said, "Everything that came after Qatar is a gift, and I'm more than grateful for everything I've been able to live through." Achieving his ultimate dream back in 2022 clearly brought him immense peace. He's framing 2026 not as some desperate obligation to prove himself, but really as a beautiful, grateful bonus chapter.
And yet, that desire is clearly still burning. Take, for example, a massive cultural hint dropped in a recent Adidas commercial for the new Argentina kit. The ad ends with Messi looking directly into the camera and delivering a single, incredibly powerful word: quiero, I want to. Wow. It strongly signals to the world that, if his body allows it, he desperately desires to take the pitch in North America.
This burning desire actually aligns perfectly with what he recently told Italian football icon Antonio Cassano in a private meeting down in Miami. Messi admitted, "I can play 3 or 4 more years. I do it for the love of soccer. I enjoy it." This passion is so evident that fellow legends like Roberto Carlos are even predicting Messi could play until the 2030 World Cup. Crazy, right?
Which leaves us with this final thought to ponder. Will football give us one more miracle? Look, whether he wins or not, Messi has already changed the game forever. But as we look toward North America in 2026, I want you to ask yourself, are we truly about to watch the final magical chapter in the greatest football story ever told? Only time will tell. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep your eyes on the pitch.